It's great to be here with you. Technology is just amazing to be around the world, to be able to communicate and share great things with each of our unfranchised owners and guests. And you know, it's exciting. It's an exciting time. You know, change is opportunity. And of course, when we get together, being a retail driven company, it's important to understand what we offer with some of our select products. And tonight specifically, we're looking more into health and nutrition. My goal tonight is to talk a little bit about the basics, the fundamentals, the universals, as you would call them, and to help us all live a better quality of life. And it's important to understand that because each and every one of us is an amazing machine that has been put together, and we've got to maintain that machine if you expect performance on a regular basis. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you are able to take away some wonderful information so that you can make a difference for your team, your clients, and even yourself as you move forward, making a difference in your communities and around the world. You know, the one thing that constantly amazes me is how advanced we are here in the world. And, you know, but one of the things that perplexes me on a regular basis is that why is it, you know, where almost anything is possible? If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Why do people consistently bypass the simplest thing? And that's health. And why don't we take care of ourselves? And I think about this so many times, and it's maybe because of our busy lifestyle. Maybe it's our drive to be something better. Maybe it's that entrepreneurial spirit that keeps driving us on a daily basis, that cuts out the time that you should be spending on yourself to improve your life. And, you know, so many of us feel that we have to take care of our families, we have to take care of our surroundings, we have to deal with the responsibilities of work, so we cut things out. And a lot of times we're cutting out our own health. Now, one of the reasons that I want you all to understand this is that unlike a car with a flat tire that just doesn't drive, or a guitar with a broken string that doesn't make music, or a boat without a propeller working, is not going to go. Well, our bodies, unlike those examples, will continue to work even when there is something wrong. Meaning that if you imagine yourself as an orchestra, and let's just say in that orchestra making beautiful music, there are 50 musicians playing. And then all of a sudden you have another orchestra that is playing with 20 musicians. Both make music, but one is going to be far more sophisticated, far more refined in its output of music. The one with all 50 musicians playing beautifully in partnership versus 20 of the 50 playing the music. Our bodies will continue to work for us. These groups of people will continue to play music, but there is a difference between each of them. So as we move in life and we ignore or not pay attention to what our bodies need, once we get beyond a certain point, our body is going to start breaking down, and there will come a time when the majority of what is right is no longer working. And now we're going to have the challenge that we have to be very concerned with. Now we'll have to go under prepare. This whole presentation is to prevent us from going under major repair work. So let's talk about some of the things when we mention health. So when people talk about health and being in good health, what does it really mean? In our philosophies, and if you looked up in a dictionary, the state of being free from illness or injury is one way to approach this. Another way is it's a condition of well-being or free from disease. Well, well-being is how well we feel each morning as we wake up and start the day, or how blessed we are when we're free from a certain illness or disease. It could be about our person's mental and physical conditioning. I know life is a choice in the way that I live it each and every day. Good health to me is performance being at its peak level so that I can attack every day and never waste a minute in regards to making a difference. You know, how we view our health is very important. Other things you may want to consider: imagine a scale where there is a 0 in the middle, there's a +5 to the right, and a -5 to the left. And each one, you have a -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then a positive 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Where do you see your health? Well, quite frankly, a lot of people might be a 0 or a -1 or even a -2. You might be a +1 or +2 being okay. But the real question is, on this chart, where would you like to be? And I know most of us, I think 100% of us would want to be at a +5 at our very best. Imagine your best day ever, every day. That's how I want you to feel and how I want your expectations to be at that level on an ongoing basis. So when we talk about health, there's so many things to consider. You know, just looking at this list of different things, starting with antioxidant protection or going through bone and joint and muscle health or looking at digestive health. You know, no matter what area that you're looking at, to make sure that you are at the best level of health, it's important. I will say this to you, I don't know if you've ever done this, is that I've had something as simple as a sore finger, and that sore finger would get my attention like it was the worst thing in the world. And then I might have a sprained ankle one time. But then again, I might have a headache, or I might be constipated and I haven't gone to the bathroom for a couple days. Isn't it amazing? Whatever the issue is, it's the main thing. And what we're trying to do is have an overall approach to health. And I just wanted to bring your awareness to all the different things that are included when we think about health. Now, let's talk about some basic recommendations that I want to give you up front that I think you should be considering each and every day. Nothing is more important than waking up in the morning and drinking approximately 12 to 16 ounces of fluid, water that is, not just coffee or tea. The reason is water stimulates our body's activities right from the beginning. And throughout the day, you should basically be working on eight ounces of water. Now, here I am in my office. I'll just show you what I have. I learned this from Dr. Deidre Mason. I basically have a gallon container of water that I want to go through on a daily basis. Now, I'm bigger than the average person, and I do a lot of activities, including physical activities on a regular basis. So, which leads us to the second recommendation, that you should be active, at least, in my world, active every day, but at least 3 to 6 times per day. Once again, we get caught up in life and we forget to take our personal time. We also want, if you're going to have a alcoholic drink, a glass of wine or something, we want to do that sparingly. We want to keep that down to minimal amounts of alcohol. And so we also want to consider supplementation, which we'll be talking more about, because it's very hard to get everything that your body needs in the food today that we eat on a regular basis. Sleep is so important. We want to focus on getting 7 or 8 hours each evening, and we want to manage our stress levels. Does anybody have stress out there? Yes, we all do. Now, stress is amazing because there's good stress and there's bad stress. And what we want to eliminate is that chronic stress, something that's constantly on our minds, keeping that heavy toll or that weight on our shoulders. But these are some basic recommendations that you want to keep in mind whenever you're talking to one of your clients. You know, it's not about selling something every day. It's not about moving a new client into one of our products. It's basically, what can you do to make a difference with people? Did you know that 22% of your genes are influenced by minerals? Do you even know that you're a genetic map, that you're made up of literally trillions of cells throughout your body? Did you know that vitamin D, for example, more than 600 different actions or promoter genes that it works with, meaning it starts this process, putting links of DNA together so that you get something really powerful happening in your body so that you can have that performance that we talked about. And how about the simple mineral magnesium or amino acids, which come from high quality proteins? You know, there's a genetic link between brain health and longevity. All of the things that are important to us are affected by what we put into our bodies. Our bodies, again, we can be an orchestra, or all of us were a chemistry set. And 99.9% of us are exactly the same. And I want you to remember that. And so when we talk about things to help us, people always say, well, do I need to take supplements? This has been a controversial conversation between not only lay people, but health professionals. You know, and what I've found over the years, and just so you know, I started taking my first multivitamin in 1971. I know I just gave away my age, but when you start thinking about that, there is a huge difference in how you age by basically providing your body the things that it needs. A quality multivitamin can fill in the gaps where your diet falls short. And if you don't believe me, and if you're one of those people who say, I eat perfectly, I call that. And I say, if you don't believe that you're not eating perfectly, I'd like you to write down everything you eat for the next 3 days and to take a look at it. And you're going to find there's a ton of things that you're missing. You know, I've never met anyone that's had a vitamin D sufficiency, not deficiency. And if they were sufficient in vitamin D, it was because they were taking effective vitamin D supplement. So important in our body. You know, in every one of your cells, and I mentioned it earlier, trillions of cells has a vitamin D receptor. So if you don't think that's important, then you dig in a little more education. And everything that we talk about, and people often wonder and say, Dennis, why are you, you know, proficient in nutrition, and why do you understand how so many things are so important? Well, you've got to understand, early on in my life, my body was my business. And as a professional athlete, you are paid to perform. And that is something that you want to maintain as long as you possibly can. But there's more. You know, why are supplements worthwhile? B vitamins essential, like our omega-3 fatty acids. They're essential. They can't be made in the body. And, you know, so many times we talk about taking these things in on a daily basis. And so if your body is not making them, you've got to take them. And it's so very important that you understand that and comprehend that. Example, in our gut, in digestion, we have bad bugs and we have good ones. Does that mean that do our bad bugs take off, or should we have our good bugs working all the time so we have good overall digestive health? These are things that you want to think about. Your body never takes a day off. It's always working 24/7, and you need to treat that way and not take advantage of it. You know, when we start thinking about supplementation, we got to start thinking about how our metabolism can slow down from inactivity or on restricting calories. And it also, effective digestion starts to slow down too as we start to age. So certain supplementation, in this case, as simple as fiber, that we may not get enough of each and every day. You know, our target's going to run between 25 to 35 grams of fiber each day. Here's a little test. Just mark on a daily basis for the next 3 days how much fiber that you're taking in on a daily basis. So again, when we start looking at our plate of food, you want to make sure that you have the quality protein as well as the fiber, and everything else falls into place with the good choices that you'll make. So one of the things as we move forward today is I want to talk about the 3 essentials that Dr. Deidre Mason has taught me that are what we call the non-negotiable 3. And this is what each and every person should be taking, no matter who you are. There is no better insurance on making sure that you get your essential vitamins and minerals than taking a good multivitamin. In addition to that, our bodies on a regular basis create oxidation. And antioxidants are so important as we think about our health and how we age effectively. An antioxidant, for many of you that may or may not know, is basically something that inhibits oxidation. It slows down this process, this natural process. It's funny. I often say this. I said, you know, we have to breathe to live, but actually breathing kills us over time, because every time we breathe, we're bringing in an opportunity for the body to go through an oxidation period. But our bodies have been made to counteract that. But with a poor diet, with age, we don't basically work as effectively in counteracting these types of things that go on in our body. So again, when you start thinking about that, we have to take that into consideration. Then we have our omega-3s that we'll touch on today. And these are the essentials that we need from a fatty acid standpoint. And it's important that we have this on a regular basis. So those would be my baseline for anyone who wants to just start working on improvement, moving yourself on the scale to the positive side of health. And when you're taking supplementation, remember, it is not a drug. Supplementation primarily is a process of healthy eating and a additional supplement in regards to covering the gaps that may happen. Now, again, when you think about this, these are things that will help you do what? Stay at peak performance. Will you be able to perform without these three? Sure, but not as long or not as efficient that you would expect yourself to live by. Now, we can talk about the basic 5 of our business, or we can talk about the basic 5 of supplementation. So adding in 2 more very important supplements would be our vitamin D with K2 and also our B complex. That's really important to remember. Both of those are very strong supplements that will support so many mechanisms going on in our body each and every day. So let's dive in and talk a little bit more specifically how we can address these universals of both the essential 3 and the basic 5. So as we start each and every day, we have to eat food. We all eat on a regular basis. And what is healthy eating, and where are we today? You know, so many times we're buying fast foods or processed foods, or for me, the one thing I have to stay away from are buffets, because primarily I have no limits. I'm a volume eater. But you have to understand how we eat with that basic foundation of food is really going to determine whether you are basically negatively impacting your body or positively impacting your body. And I think we all want to be on our optimal level of health on a regular basis. So let's talk about a good multivitamin, okay? And I want to just say this to everyone out there listening tonight. I'm going to be talking about different supplements over the next 20 minutes. However, I want you to know that in addition to the ingredients and the correct dosages, the delivery and how we take our supplementation is very important, because there are all kinds of vitamin supplements out there today. And vitamin supplements are not created equal. So keep that in mind. So let's start off with basically the essential vitamins and minerals that are needed for proper nutritional balance. We talked about this earlier. When you see essential vitamins or essential minerals, that's telling you that your body's not making them. It's not a process that happens internally. So that means you have to take them in on a daily basis. Also, we need to understand what vitamins serve as, and they are cofactors. And a lot of people, you know, I want to just talk about what is a cofactor. So many times you say things, but you don't understand what they're doing. Well, consider a cofactor as a helper, and it actually helps other essential nutrients or chemicals in your body to basically do biochemical functions. So whenever you see the word cofactor, it's an important part of a process that's happening internally, okay? And when we start talking about this, working with enzymes and coenzymes, it's all about functioning for certain things to happen in our bodies so that we can get the performance that we're looking for. In addition to the vitamins, minerals are important cofactors. They often carry the electrical charges that go off in our bodies all the time. If you understand how this amazing machine we are works, then you understand why every day is important to start with a good multivitamin. So when we start thinking about this, we also understand that in many cases, iron is not necessarily important for every multivitamin. We all change. We all have different requirements. But when we start thinking about the multivitamin without iron, an effective multivitamin will help support the immune system, which is very important because that's a defense system that we have to protect ourselves so that we can run at peak performance. In addition to that, we promote skeletal and muscle and skin health. All of these things are very important. If you don't think they're important, just try to function with a broken bone or a pulled muscle, or if you're not looking right with your skin. It's very important. Feel comfortable in your skin. So once again, a multivitamin, and specifically, I've been using an isotonic multivitamin since 1993, if you can imagine that. But anyway, it's a thing that I will not start a day without. When you start thinking about what we provide with our Isotonics multivitamin, basically 100% or more of the recommended daily allowances, many vitamins and minerals. And I just want to talk about daily allowances. Daily allowances are what we need so that we're not deficient. So when you see we have 100% or more, we're taking into account that you are eating food. And number two, we're also taking into account that you need more than just existing. And we are all different sizes. And these are things that are important. You notice that we have minerals as well as vitamins. But did you know something as simple as chromium? While you may not know exactly what that does, but it's essential for you to be able to utilize sugar as energy in your body. It doesn't get into the cells to produce that energy that you need. Everything that we take is specifically charted to do things in our body. Another product that I want to talk about is our #1 selling product, OPC3. Isotonics has done a great job in combining several powerful ingredients that include grapeseed extract, grape skin extract, as well as a specific type of registered French maritime bark called pycnogenol. And added with bilberry extracts and citrus bioflavonoids, this creates one of the most powerful antioxidants on the planet. But there's also more benefit than just straight antioxidant with this combination of OPC3. This is something that over my lifetime, it has done a great job in keeping me mobile and keeping me going forward. You know, everything from circulation to keeping healthy inflammation levels, OPC3 has done a great job, as well as providing the antioxidants to protect us from our free radical damage that occurs every day from not only our breathing, but from the environment around us and the foods that we eat. The benefits of OPC3, let's summarize it, and this is really the most important thing. Don't worry about the technical aspects of how a basic polyphenol or how you take something that works in your body. That's really not as important as understanding just the benefits. So in addition to an antioxidant, it promotes cardiovascular and joint health, maintains healthy cholesterol and blood glucose levels. It supports blood vessel function and the elasticity of that, and also healthy complexion. Now think about it. Remember what we talked about on all the different areas of health that we wanted to address. And this is one of those all-purpose kind of products that will complement a multivitamin tremendously. And if you put the proanthocyanidins up against other antioxidants, why can we say it's so powerful? Because it has an extraordinary amount of molecules that can help keep vitamin C and vitamin E functioning at peak performance in regards to antioxidant capabilities. So it's great to see how all of this works. The most important thing that you can remember that this is a highly studied product and has multiple scientific and clinical studies that have been published in known journals around the world. Think about this exclusive French maritime bark called Pycnogenol. It comes from a unique region between in the areas of France and Gascony. And what it does, think about this, it takes basically a tree that has access that have been growing from 30 to 50 years. Now, there is an extraction process where they do not harm the tree. They primarily are able to cultivate the bark and it actually grows back. And so it's a beautiful thing, keeps everything living and functioning. It's got it all going on. There's no pesticides. The environment is somewhat perfect, and it is a great ingredient. You should also know Pycnogenol is not the same as other pine barks out there. This is probably the most studied ingredient that is out there today in regards to antioxidant research. But let me say this to you, you get what you pay for. So don't be afraid that this product is a little bit more expensive than a regular traditional antioxidant. But know the differences and it will help you as you share the benefits. Also, it helps, as I talked about, in renewing the production of vitamin C, and that helps renew the effectiveness of a vitamin E. And they simply donate a specific molecule, an electron, to counteract what they call a free radical that basically is unstabilized because of a lack of an electron. So basically, these are ingredients that provide additional electrons to help stabilize a free radical and make it a normal molecular structure working in your body. So again, it's a great product, huge research behind it. You can have great confidence in taking this product on a regular basis. Let's talk about the omega-3, the fish oil with vitamin E. I will say this, one of the things that have helped me with my mobility through the years after playing professional sports has been the combination of the omega-3s with the OPC3 that has really kept me working and being very fluid with my energy levels on a daily basis. Let's talk a little bit more about why this omega-3 is different than other omega-3s. Let's talk with the sources that we're going. We're getting the very smallest of fish. The larger fish are more likely to have contaminants in it. So we work exclusively with sardines and anchovies that are basically caught off the coast of Peru. Now, again, this is an environment of getting the very best ideal source of fish oil, and that's what we're looking for. Remember, you are so important. If your health isn't working, if your body's not functioning, not only is your performance down, but everyone that you touch around you basically has a challenge. Now, again, it exceeds standards set both in Canada as well as the European Union and as well as the United States. Now, the purity has gone through more than 200 quality checks, and it is greatly tested to make sure that those impurities do not include mercury, lead, PCBs, or other heavy metals. You can certainly take this product with confidence. Heart health is so important when understanding the importance of omega-3s. And if you take a look at the benefits, just look at this all-star cast of things it can do to support your daily activities. maintain normal cholesterol levels, maintain healthy blood pressure levels. And these are all scientifically documented. Normal blood flow. The blood flow is so important for the activity of flowing oxygen. Maintaining normal triglyceride levels. These are things that are important to each and every one of us. How about mood? Very important, so that you can make every day count, and anyone you touch in your life, you're going to be able to be highly effective. A unique selling point is the addition of vitamin E that protects the efficacy of the most important two things that we look for in an omega-3, and that is the DHA and the EPA. And these are two basic ingredients that they're not only going to be in a great product, but they'll be in at the right ratio. And that's usually a 3 to 2, a 1.5 to 1 ratio. And that is critical if you're going to expect the benefits. 2 soft gels taken daily is 3,000 milligrams or 3 grams of fish oil, delivering 900 milligrams of eicosapentaenoic acid and 600 milligrams of docosahexaenoic acid. Now, you don't have to know what those letters stand for, but you just need to know these are the important parts of the omega-3 that are effective in helping our bodies be terrific. Vitamin D with K2, this formulation is a beautiful formulation, again, in an isotonic capable delivery system. So let's talk about this. Our multivitamin, our OPC3, our vitamin D with K2 all come in an isotonic capable formula, meaning that when you mix the crystals with a certain amount of liquid, you are getting the same fluid pressure that is in your body. And when taken on an empty stomach, it goes into the system in 4 to 6 minutes. That's correct, really quick. So what's that mean? You get a higher concentration of the nutritional content and your body will utilize it more effectively. Vitamin D has a lot of things that it does for our bodies, but understand it has a lot to do with all of the processes that include homeostasis. And that's basically talking about a balance within our body, a steady internal physical and chemical balance so that we must have for efficiency. It works with our immune system. It helps in the regulation of cell growth. All of these things so critical of vitamin D. Remember, we talked about it, over 600 different functions it deals with, and we have receptors in each of our cells in our body that can take in vitamin D. So when you're adding vitamin D with the K2, it promotes an efficient absorption of calcium, which is great for strong bones and growth, and also in supporting your immune health. Now, also, let's talk about what affects how much vitamin D we get on a regular basis. Well, if you're looking for vitamin D, you need to have a certain amount of sunlight exposure. Now, I know we're all aware of protecting our skin from sunlight, but it's very important if your body is going to synthesize the vitamin D. So we're very much protecting our skin, but what's that do? It limits how much vitamin D we get from natural sunlight. Low dietary intakes of certain food. It could be the way we absorb the foods that we eat in nutrition. And of course, aging slows things down. But the benefits of a good vitamin D will be maintaining normal bone and mineral density. Also, bone mass is important. Maintain healthy cardiovascular health, supports healthy blood flow. All of these things are so very important, and of course supports immune health. We think about products that are essential. When we talk about the basic 5 and what we use, boom, it's important. So again, you might be thinking, why do we take vitamin D and a specific type, vitamin D3, and put it with K2? Now, that's a specific type of vitamin K that supports cardiovascular health as well as the ability to utilize calcium for bone health. They work together beautifully, and this is the advantage, the isotonic advantage. Putting together are putting science to good use to put together the right ingredients for people to maximize their return from investment of supplementation for good health. Vitamin D3, it's a specific type of vitamin D that we use specifically, great for our body to use with efficient absorption of calcium. Also, as we talked about with muscular function and immune health. K2 is specifically a different type of K, vitamin K, that works very nicely when it comes to heart health and bone health. It is not a vitamin K product that would have an effect when combined with a pharmaceutical that you may be recommended by a health professional. So be aware of that and know that. How do I take vitamin D with K2? Basically, you take a capful. The capful is not the applicator cap that covers. That's basically how you measure the amount of fluid or water that you put in with the crystals. And basically, you take it once daily. You add 60 mils and stir and drink it. It's very good. It's very tasty. It's a little bit effervescence. It gets into the body really fast. It's a great product. You'll love it. In fact, the deal closer on all of these products are that our flavor technology is just wonderful. So again, remember vitamin D with K2. There's all types of benefits, more than just for bone health. And we talked about those, so remember that. That's part of the basic 5. And rounding off the basic 5, we want to talk about B vitamins, water-soluble vitamins. But we naturally deplete ourselves with our lifestyles. With the things that we drink, with stress, the sugars are becoming so dominant in our lives today. And all of these things affect the vitamin B and what we utilize it for. I think when we start talking about vitamin B, I think we have to think about cognitive health. We have to understand, what is this really working with? It says a role with dopamine synthesis. So what in the world is dopamine? Well, basically, it's from an amino acid that helps connect the nerve cells so that we can actually think and plan and feel pleasure. It's a wonderful thing that we have to have happening in our body. Also, when we're talking about homocysteine, that's another thing that we want to be very cognizant of. That's an important part of health. It basically uses B vitamins to basically break down some of the substances that are needed for certain functions in our body. So having healthy homocysteine levels are very important. We think about B5, which is part of the complex. And it's not just one specific thing. I think folic acid has become very popular. B12 has become very popular. But let's not forget the family of Bs that do so much. B5 with the neurotransmitters, working with the brain. B6, think about that again. We have to be very, very clear that B vitamins, especially as we age, are very, very important in how we work. It's good for supporting red blood cell formation, our metabolism and energy levels, and supports cardiovascular health. Just remember this, we talk about a traditional supplement, tablet form. Certainly, people have used that for years, but think about the advancement of an isotonic capable supplement, meaning taking it the way nature has intended it to be, in a delivery system that when you take it, it is the same fluid pressure of how your body actually accepts the fluids working in it, the same fluid pressure as tears, as blood. It's so very important. Did you know when you eat, the food that goes into the stomach has to break down to an isotonic capable solution before it can be utilized? We're bypassing all of that. And if you understand digestion, your body breaks down food by pushing hydrochloric acid and water through the stomach walls to break it down. Well, that's also breaking down some of the nutrition. Here, we're getting through the stomach very quickly, so at a high concentration of nutrition, and your body works better in extracting that nutrition when there's a higher level of concentration of the nutrition. So Pretty powerful. Love that. Do your homework. You'll really understand. So in summary, let's remember what health is. You know, however you define it, just define it some way. You know, just remember the condition of well-being, free from disease. And remember that our bodies have been built to protect ourselves. So let's keep it healthy so it works for us. And then finally, when we get through targeting health, all the different areas that we work on, whether it be antioxidants, whether it be the immune system, cardiovascular health, health is an all-encompassing dynamic that we all have to be aware of. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Ruby. Thank you for having me. Wishing you a great evening and only the best in making a difference.